Perfect. 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 Perfect.
What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas home network. We'll be talking all sports, but only Houston. As you know, we finna get down into some Texans talk tonight. Man, we got a special guest joining us this evening, Mr. Garrick Jones, potentially your future Houston Texans GM. And we got a gentleman from the Round getting down, a familiar face. Y'all should know who we got in the mix with us from the Round tonight, man.
What's the deal, Sauce Nation? It's your boy Spitz.
Already. Mr. Jones, you'd like to introduce, let people know where they can find you on your social medias?
Oh man, I normally tell folks to just search me out on Google or any other search engine. Just hit that hashtag GJ for GM. That's GJ number 4 GM, and everything I'm doing to pop up, man. All right, it's real simple.
Okay. But here's the deal, man. So we got a lot to talk about in South Station. Y'all already know how it goes down around here.
Right.
See all y'all on a Friday evening. Y'all know how it goes down on Fridays. Fucking Friday. I know y'all upset about some shit, so y'all know to get that off your chest in the chat. And there's plenty to be upset about going on around town. So hey, it is what it is. So let's kind of get into it first. Let's get a little Sauce Nation roll call. We'll see what we got joining us. We're gonna dive right into it, man, because ain't no time to waste. I see Purple Drain, Professor Trill, Voodoo Child, King Jaja, Chopper Slim, Tony Cooper, Power. Let me see. Who's that footballer? Let me see. Jack Tripper, Jamarcus Durall, Jamal, Dead Shred. What's the motherfucker? Your dirty band house, Calhoun. I see you. But like I said, if I miss you, I ain't dish you. Like I said, I want to get into it. There's a lot to talk about. Man, starting off, let's talk about it, man. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your campaign. Let's talk about what you're trying to do. And I think what you're trying to accomplish is something that a lot of people in this city would like to see, but they may not be familiar with you as a candidate for this role. So you're trying to go out and be the Houston Texans GM. Why are you the candidate for the job?
Well, I got a vested interest in the team, man. I came in 2003, so I was on that bottom level as far as the foundation of this thing. So, with that vested interest, man, I want to see the team succeed, number one. Number two is the city of Houston needs that Super Bowl, man. We need something to cheer about. And where we're headed right now is the exact opposite of that, So for me, man, being a veteran of 3 different leagues, I've had the opportunity to have on-the-job training, with all these different GMs. I've been around some of the best and some of the worst. And I understand the dynamic of those players that are out there, man. I know what the workload is. I know what the workload is as far as the former guys. I know what the workload is as far as the fans. So I'm just trying to bridge that gap, man, because right now it's a disconnect, and folks are spending their hard-earned money, man, for a product that ain't cutting it, So my thing was, when D Hop got traded, pretty much for a hot Dr. Pepper and a bag of Funyuns, I said, man, let me raise my hand because this is getting out of hand. So that's where it came from, man. And I'm ready to put this business practices and business acumen that I have on the line and go ahead and make this thing happen. So essentially, I'm going back into the Lions den, man, and go get it again.
Okay. And you said a couple of things, and a couple of things are very interesting that you said, because we talk a lot about the team around here. I think Sauce Sports is like the voice of the people. because this is
Right.
where I think the everyday person gets heard. You know, we're not corporate, you know, everyday working people, you know, just, you know, young,
Right.
old, all over the place, you know, different countries, you know, everybody comes here, to be honest. Sometimes all that rah-rah stuff that the organization puts out, some of us ain't buying
Right.
it, you
No,
know.
I get it.
But you said something, and that's having a vested interest in the team. I don't feel like there's a lot of that going on with this team, like as far as people in positions of power, you know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I've seen you say some things about meaning that people kind of are out for self. What is the way,
Right.
if you know, if you were able to, you know, obtain that role? How do you kind of weed that out?
Man, it's all about leadership. I mean, for me, anything that goes on, it starts and ends with leadership. You know, if I can't sell you on the direction of where we're going, you know, there's no way that you're gonna buy into it. And it all starts from where you've been. Like myself, man, I made it to the NFL from the trunk of my car, you know, without a senior season. So I traveled from Little Rock, Arkansas, all the way to LA, and then from LA back to Mobile, Alabama. Took me about a year to do that. So I had to force my will when it came down to the scouts that told me I'd never make it. And essentially I did, when less than 1% of all the athletes in the world make it to the NFL. You know, I was one of them 1%, and I was able to stay for a while. And in doing that, you know, that's the respect that's needed. That adds validity to what it is that I bring to the table when it comes down to these current guys, because they understand it. You know, they respect that. So ultimately, that's what has to happen within the organization. They have to be able to buy into the vision and buy into me. And then from there, we go get that Super Bowl. Because if you're not in it to win the Super Bowl, what are you doing? You just coming to get a check. They got other organizations for that, not this one.
Exactly, exactly. So, you know, being a guy, and I want to kind of tie what Spitz said, and I don't want to just sit there. Now, Spitz just released a video, and he was talking about coaching candidates.
Right.
Because I felt like since that Colts lost in the playoffs a couple of years back, that Bill O'Brien showed me he wasn't the guy. And I was a Bill O'Brien guy. I held on to the last string, you know, as
Yeah,
much
I
as
get
I
it.
could. But I think this team has to go in a different direction. Now, if you feel comfortable, if you don't, I understand. But what direction would you go in if you had an opportunity to make a change at that level?
Man, I'd go with somebody who's been there, done that. Number one, you got to get the respect of your players. That's how it works. And then somebody with a winning record. Number two. So number one for me would be Eric Bieniemy. You know what I'm saying? And the way he does what he does, how he commands respect, and how his players play for him. I've been around that. You know, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for a guy like that. And then I'd go with, you know, on down that list. You know, I'd go with Robert Salah from San Francisco. You know, he's already been a part of the Texans organization when I was there. And then Greg Roman. You know, he would be a guy that I would look at, just for the simple fact that I want guys to be able to come in and work with what we have. We don't have the luxury of time to play around and take 2 or 3 years to build this thing. We got to take what's there right now and win with that. That's the measure of a true coach. You know, it's not about, you know, the players that you want to have. It's about the players that you have. How good of a coach are you? So when I sit down with anybody, you know, those are the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to figure out what would be needed for you to be able to come into this position and be successful, as opposed to what we have now, and how you would be able to make that adjustment and be able to pivot. Because, like I say, it all starts and ends with me. And if you can't come in and get baptized in that fire, you won't be a good fit, man. You know, that's just what it is.
Okay. Spitz, you look like you got some on your mind there. Say something that you
Yeah,
got a question.
yeah. Okay, so in making a coaching change,
Right.
what is your main priority? Because I want to know, like, what is your main focus? What is your main priority?
Priority wise is, like I said, man, you have to have the guy that's going to be able to come in and command the guys, right? It's all about leading your troops. You know, I want that guy that's going to come in, and when we get over there to shore, we're going to burn that boat. He got to
Right.
lead from the front, you know, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'd be a GM that's going to be out there on the field with the O line, because that's where I cut my teeth, and we're gonna be out there working together, because they got to
Gotcha.
respect it. And then when you get into the boardroom, it's the same situation. I'm gonna eat in the boardroom, and it's having that lineman's mentality. I'm gonna come to work each and every day, and I'm gonna shut up and put my pads on. That's what we're here for. We're here to get to this Super Bowl, and it's not here to just collect this check. So
Right.
my priorities would be just having somebody that's aligned with that, and somebody that understands the dynamic of winning. Because if you've never done it before, how can I expect you to make sure that our players are going to be able to do it? So that's one of the things that I wanted to do when it came down to the Super Bowl. I gotta surround us with guys who've been there, done that. They know what it tastes like, they know what it smells like, and now they can advise. And that's what I would bring to the table from the NFLPA Houston chapter. All these guys that I've been around, all these guys that I deal with on a daily basis, these guys have won Super Bowls. Nobody's walking throughout that building right now that says, "Hey, look, this is how you get it, young buck. Let's go do this. This is what you do." So it's about mentoring, man, making sure everybody understands where we're going, and that would be the coaching situation. They got to fall in line and let's make it happen.
Yeah, because to be honest, the only person in that building right now that has any type of championship pedigree is Deshaun. That's because he did it on the college level. Everybody else from the players and from other coaches on the coaching staff, they don't have a real championship pedigree. You got some guys who basically roll some coattails like with other people and basically some hanger-ons and things like that. But one of my things is because one thing I never understood about a lot of organizations, because a lot of organizations that do this, they'll draft a quarterback in the first round and they don't do everything in their power to build around that guy. And that's why you have a lot of busts. To be honest, sometimes guys do be like just really not talented, and they were really good in college, but not cut for the NFL. But a lot of times, it's just poor situations. A lot of times, it's just poor situations and circumstances. They don't really build around that guy. I want to know how would you handle that?
Man, you have to. If I draft a player as a general manager, if I draft a player, I'm drafting you to retire with our team. So I'm not drafting you to be a Band-Aid. It's a marriage, dude. It is what it is. So what happens is you got to build around that player. You had to have a coaching staff that is flexible enough and forward thinking enough to be able to adjust their styles to these players. This is an entirely different generation. Like the cloth that I'm cut from is entirely different from these guys that are playing right now. Not to take anything from them, but I'm cut from a cloth where we went 25 days straight, so 2 days with Dick Vermeil. You see what I'm saying? So I understand. You have to have the empathy to be able to connect with people on their level and understand exactly where they're coming from, because they bring in all kind of stuff to practice, all these different aspects of at home, the different things with the family, all that comes to practice with us. So if you have a coach that has never been there and done that, how can we respect that? Or how can we really look at that and say, hey, listen, he has my best interest? So you got to have coaches that are flexible and they can coach. They got to be able to flat out coach. They got to be able to make adjustments on the fly. They got to be able to pivot. They got to be able to put up with all the pressures that are out there. Otherwise, it's just like I said before, man, you can have all the horses in the stable that you want, but if you can't ride, you've wasted our time. And that's how I'm a firm believer in that.
Right.
Well, there's another thing we talk about. Like I said, we talk about culture in this organization, and even around like free agency time, and and we're sure that guys in the league, they speak to one another. With some of the rumors that are out there, some of the things that kind of go on when you hear about the Texans, never really anything too positive. Do you think that that's an impact on maybe some bigger name guys considering coming to this organization? And if so, how do you change that?
I think that is a huge thing, right? You would want to come to Houston because the majority of the guys that are retired come to Houston. There's things that are attractive about the city that people want to be around it. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful city to use for recruiting. No taxes, those types of things. You know what I'm saying? The state situation, you get to keep more of your money. When it comes down to the tax bracket that guys are in, unfortunately, just like you say, it's the culture. The culture is toxic. So I won't come to anywhere that's toxic. I mean, it's like myself when I came in and I finally got my opportunity after going up to Canada and playing and working out and being in pads in front of all those scouts that told me no. I ended up coming back home and working out for 14 different teams and had 8 of them that wanted to sign me. But the teams that I looked at and I saw that I probably wouldn't be a good fit for was, number one, the New York teams, because it's just the cost of living is ridiculous. But also the other teams I looked at, the culture wasn't there. I didn't feel like I could thrive, or I didn't feel like that, I had a connection with those coaches and the GMs and all those people. And you got to have that, man, especially the generations now. They got to have that. And with free agents, it's hard to get them right now. But I know with a change of scenery, change of pace, change of leadership, that'll change. It's got to be the right leaders, but that'll change. And the culture for the Texans has to be, we got to win now. It's not let's wait till next season. Let's start off slow and then we win the division. No, sir. You have to develop that win now mentality, and every last person in that building, whether it's the custodian or upper management, has to have that mentality. And right now they don't have that.
Right. Yeah, I agree because like I think that maybe 10 years ago, like back in 2011 when we first won the division, I think everybody was cool. We was just happy to be there. But I think this fan base, for the most part, we're starving right now. Like
Right, right.
we are hungry. Like we are foaming at the mouth, hungry,
It's too much
wanting to
sauce.
be like now. At the very least, be in legitimate competing for a championship. At
Right.
least be in the conversation legitimately,
Right.
not just any given Sunday anybody
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do something. I mean, if you get hot
Right.
around, like no, we want to be. We want to look at and be when you look at those upper echelon teams that we
Right.
belong. Because
Right.
if you look and seen what transpired the past 3 weeks, it's clear that we don't even belong in the same league, let alone the same field as the guys.
Right, right. And that's the thing that I look at, and that's what really drives me, and has that steering wheel in my back is we have the players to do it. But
Yes.
there again, it's the leadership, and it's
Right.
unfortunate. And I had a conversation a
Too
couple of
much
days
sauce.
back with some of my former teammates, and the point that was brought up was it's unfortunate that the players have to rise above coaching so many times in order to be successful. You never want to put your players in a position to rise above coaching consistently during the season. Maybe once or twice is cool. I might have had a bonehead call here or there, and my quarterback was good enough to get us out of it. But you want to be a good enough staff to make sure that you're bringing out the best in your players. And it's unfortunate because we have the players to do it. And that's what is the most frustrating thing about me is knowing players and knowing and being out there with guys and knowing what it takes to be out there. Man, I hate it for them. I feel bad for the fans. And that's part of the reason why I started that petition, man. It's time for a change. Leadership. You have to be an inspirational leader. You have to be a transformational leader. And right now, it's just all organizational. It's do as I say, and I have the right of power, and with absolute power comes absolute corruption. So
Exactly.
he's painted himself in the corner, man.
Well, you said you raised your hand when the trade went down. So let me ask you this:
Right.
how disgusted were you when that news broke?
It hurt, bro. I'm not gonna even lie to you because I've been in that situation before.
Right.
I've been in the locker room or I've been on the field where, a coach came to me and told me I would never play as long as they were there. Right. It wasn't nothing that I did. It was just the fact that the politics of it,
Right.
and it was politics. I really can't get into it too tough.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of the conversation we had off the cuff. I know Bob McNair a little bit better than other people, and he was part of making sure I was in a good spot. But yeah, no. When that happened, I knew exactly what was going on, and for him to trade him like he did, and you got a guy that's a perennial Pro Bowler, he's an all-star, he does everything, and you can't connect with that guy, and now you trade him off, like I say, for a hot Dr. Pepper and a bag of Funyuns. That's unacceptable. That's a man with a family. That's a man who can actually help us bring a Super Bowl to this city. And now everything is in dismay. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime guy, and
Right.
that's how it works.
That's a once in a generation player.
Man, come on, man.
He's one of those players that you don't give, that you can't give away. Like they don't just grow on trees. Like you have core guys. He's a core guy that you can't get rid of. You can't take that lightly. And absolutely, Bill did. He took it for granted. And he down in the desert making his pay every week.
Man, come on,
so.
consistent. That takes the heart from your team when you do that.
Right.
And you're expecting them to be okay because it's just like it's family out there. So when you start removing those family members, and now I'm expected to go out there and do what I did last year without my family member, that's hard, man. That's hard, especially if you can't convince me that was for the best and the betterment of the organization.
No way. So I got a question though, because of course, Hoppy is one of those guys you can't get, but there's the type of guy that you can get, and something we like to refer around here as dogs. But it seems like anytime that somebody come around here with a little bit of bite, I mean, just a little snip, it could be a little chihuahua bite. You looking a little too
Right.
aggressive.
You
We got
gotta
to put
go.
them down. We got to put them down. It
You
seems like
gotta go.
anybody comes and it has a little bit of a little spark to them, a little spice to them that they end up kind of getting shuffled out the door. And
Right.
you know, I think you got to have at least one or two guys like that on every team. A guy that
Right.
he might not make it to practice tomorrow because he might be locked up, or somebody bail him out, but he'll be all right. You know, you can rely on him though. He's got your back. He's
Right.
willing to go all the way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it seems like those guys, you know, they don't survive here.
No.
Is that something that you are in favor of? Do you think that you need that, or do you think that you can win, you know, with the good quality, all high character guys, or do you think that you need a mix?
Now you got to have a mixture, man. You got to have cats from the hood. You got to have cats from the burbs. You got to have cats from all over. But there again, it's all about how you bring them together. You know, I've had coaches, and I had one coach in particular. You know, we were going through training camp, and I mean, these are the dog days. You know, and he came to me and said, "Man, listen," he said, "if you stick with me, I'm gonna make you a winner." Like, I know it's hard, because you know how I know it's hard is because I played the game. And to this day, we still keep in contact because we had that connection. And I'm from, you know, my area. I'm from the hood. I'm all these. But the thing about it is he brought everything out of me that needed to be brought out of me. You know what I'm saying? Whether we was on the streets, I'm good. If I'm in a boardroom, I'm even better. If you put me on that field, that's where I was getting my money. You know what I'm saying? I was getting paid for that. And he understood that, and he understood that in everybody. And he was a coach that could make everybody feel like that he was just coaching just them. And you have to have that, and you have to have people that can connect and say, look, man, I've been where you are, where you came from, and I understand that. And it's unfortunate that if you don't have that, you end up losing athletes like that, man. These once in a lifetime guys. I mean, everybody got to grow up somewhere, but at the end of the day, it's all about leadership, man. Like I hold leadership accountable, man, because I know if I was in that position, they would be coming for my head right now. I'd probably be fired, to be honest with you. And that's how it works.
Right.
So I got a question too. You know, let's say let's say the Texans say, you know what, we watched that sauce last night. The gentleman was speaking facts. You know, we be secretly watching. You know, and we know that's what the voice of the people. So they give you a call. They say, Mr. Garrick, come up here. Let's have a talk. They hire you. And we got the number one task for you. First thing you do is you got to get somebody out of here, but then you got to get somebody in here with a lack of picks, a lack of capital, and you got to convince them that they can do something with this franchise. How do you do that?
Man, we already got the horses. You know what I'm saying? It's a change of scenery. You know, kind of like, let's just take COVID. You know, when they said everybody locked down, right? All of your privileges are running around and doing what you do just free, and Mary were taken away, were stripped away of you, right? So think about the team being in that scenario. Now all of a sudden COVID is gone and somebody else is there, or you can actually travel the country. Your whole disposition changes, your perspective changes. So that's what happens when you bring somebody in who is a breath of fresh air, somebody who understands the dynamic of what's going on, somebody who understands the dynamic of work. My thing is, I will not be outworked. So your team gravitates toward that, and they adapt and they adopt that frame of mind. So now you have a group of individuals that are working and that are trying to outwork each other, and there's going to be nothing but success after that, man. Once they get it and they understand it, that's when the whole mentality changes. So sometimes you have to take the 40,000 foot view of everything in order to see exactly what really is needed. And I don't think a lot of times they're doing that, you know. So if I got that call, trust me, we would get to making it happen really quickly, and people would understand what's going on around there real fast with me, man.
Like I said, so you know, I want to talk about your journey, your experience, and some of the lessons that maybe you've acquired along the way. 'Cause you've talked about different coaches, different people who've been important in your life.
Right.
What would you say? Most of that came was it only maybe before in amateur sports. When you got into the professional league, when do you feel like your biggest learning experience was, on or off the field?
Man, just watching my mom and pop work, shift work and working their fingers to the bone just to feed us. That was my lesson, and that's where I started to hone my skills. I was able to start my own business in the 9th grade. You know, and I've been running it ever since. That's a graphics design and marketing promotion company. Me and a couple of the homeboys, we said, look, we're pretty good at this. Why not? Let's do this and start it at school, and we just built that. So mine has been like a snowball turning into an avalanche. Over the years, everybody that I talk with, I observe, and I'm like a sponge. So I try to take those characteristics, man, and I apply it to life in general, and just use common sense, man. A lot of folks are scared of that common sense, so they don't have it. And with me, it's all about taking emotions and removing the logic from the emotions and making those logical decisions. So just watching my folks, man, that's where I got my work ethic from, and from there, just understanding the dynamic of what I bring to the table and my value. When I was in the league, I was getting paid well, but I knew I wasn't getting paid what I was worth. When I sat down and looked at what these teams are bringing in, I said, you know what? You are absolutely right. When you can pay me and 52 other guys and do it with a smile on your face, we're making you a lot of money. And a lot to the average fan, they don't see it like that. And it's unfortunate, but like I say, for me, watching my folks and just educating myself. And that's what I want to do with the fans. I want to do that with the players. I want to do that with upper management. We got to expose everything to them, educate them, and then that's when you get the real movement.
Yeah, that's the thing too. We felt like around here, people said via chat calls in, and I think us on the rounds, myself feel like there's a lack of the business mind may be there in this organization,
right,
but they're missing some football acumen. It feels like,
yeah,
right? And like I say, with you having that experience, maybe you could inject them with some of that and maybe get some things moving. Like I say, 'cause it seems like some of these moves are almost obvious. It's almost like here's like why would you let some of these things happen? So that's what makes you kind of concerned. But let's kind of shift the conversation a little bit. I know a lot of people here. First, we went 85 deep right now and 30 likes. Man, y'all hit that like button. Y'all stop tripping. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to Trill and Morgan. I appreciate the super saucy super chat love. I want to kind of look at the team. Like I say, they got a game coming up this weekend. There's been some weird stuff going on. Because I know Tennessee had a situation, some people was getting exposed, and I know a bunch of crazy. But hopefully everything is smooth. Looks like everything is good. But if I'm not mistaken, I know the Vikings missed a couple of days of practice, and so hopefully Texas can take advantage of that. But I kind of want to look at this game, and from what you've seen so far, these past few weeks, how are you feeling about what's going to come up this Sunday, man? How are you feeling about the Texans in this game?
Man, I'm 50-50 to be honest with you. Just from the mentality of what's going on right now, just the gravity of what's going on right now with the players and what has happened in the off season and years leading up to this. Now, people try to look at just that off season as this has been going on a while, and for the player to be in this position, you're kind of at a crossroads. It's like, okay, do we tank it to try to get a fresh start, or what do we do? Because as a player and as a competitor, man, you want to go out there and you want to smack anybody in the mouth, period. And that's just what's going to happen. But once you get to a position and you got some adversity, and then you start seeing a lot of the same things that have happened, I think from a coaching standpoint, that deflates you, man. You can look at these guys right now, and there's no life. These guys are like, man, come on, man. What is this? This is the same thing. It's just, repetitive, and the fans see it, and the players are living it, and the former guys I talk to, man, I mean, it's rough. It's rough across the board. So, I'm anxious to see how they come out. Hopefully they can come out and get something together. So now it's not a 0-4 situation, because I think if they did an 0-4 situation, that's going to be a hard situation to bounce back from, with that being the first quarter of the season without a win. And then you're banking on, well, when we get to the division, we've already done this. We've done that too many times. We want to be hot, and we want to stay hot, and we want to win. And that has to be that mentality. So, but I'm 50-50, man. We're going to see how it goes. I pull for O'Brien to be the leader that's needed, not only for those players, but for the organization. Because like I said, I have a vested interest in it, man. And when you are not doing what you need to do, we run the risk of this organization leaving like the Oilers. And we can't let that happen, man.
Yeah. We've had some interesting thoughts on that, man. Spitz your thoughts, man. How you kind of feeling about what's going on this weekend, man?
I mean, kind of on the same boat because, like, I do think the Texans kind of got a little bit with Minnesota missing some of the practices.
Right.
I think they didn't get back into the office until yesterday. So them playing practicing really on the short week does give Houston some advantages. It can go one or two ways because this is how I feel. And I've been feeling like this, and I've been really down on the team after I seen what happened week one. Because one of the things that I was really, I guess, frustrated and angry about was that the Kansas City Chiefs, when they won the Super Bowl and they got their rings, they put everybody that they beat in the playoffs, the Texans, the Titans, and the 49ers, inside their ring with the deficit of what they were down. Remember, we were up 24-0, and then what the final score was. And I'm like, if that doesn't motivate you to come out there, like you say, and smack somebody in the mouth, week one, season opener, primetime TV, let's go.
Yeah.
There's no point of you even putting on cleats, in my personal opinion. If you're not ready to go smack somebody, okay, that's what y'all think. I'm gonna show you how I feel. And if you don't feel like that, I believe that you don't put on no cleats, no helmet, no pads, no nothing. And for them to look so uninspired, so disinterested, week one and week two, they looked a little bit better week three. But I'm like, I'm kind of just out on this team, so I have very, very low expectations. I think the Texans should win the game, but will they? And like you say, like, is it a situation like, hey, do we mail it in? Because to me, I think that this locker room is split. I think that the guys who were on the team previously are feeling a certain way, and then the new guys who just got brought in, they have no real ties to the situation, so they feel a little bit different. So I think it's kind of split, and I think a lot of guys in there just collecting checks, to be honest with you. Like, because if you look at and you're a former player, you're part of the fraternity, so I know you know the looks. When you watch them on the field and you see them on the sideline, they look like they don't even care. And I've been in that situation back in high school. Like, you could tell you could tell in the situation in the field, like, they just don't look like they don't give a damn about this game. Like, they just did. Like, as long as that check clear on Tuesday, I'm good.
Right. That's the hardest part about it, man. You know, and that's why I wanted to get involved with this situation. I mean, I was comfortable, man. You know, I had done my time. You know, I got different things going on with, you know, philanthropic endeavors. You know, my other business. I got a developmental football league that I'm running. But I decided to get uncomfortable to be able to be the voice for the fans. And I love when I get in the little fan groups and on social media and I'm chatting with them and people are shooting bullets at me. I love it for the simple fact that I want all that smoke. I want you to understand who is going to be there, because when it comes down to it, you know, when you got that adversity, if you're looking at your leader, if I'm not shook, you shouldn't easily be shaken. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You need to look at what's going on, and I don't see that on that sideline. I don't see that because it's here we go again, or you got to have a belief in the people that are leading you, man. And right now it's not much belief, because anytime there's anything Texans related, it's fire Bill O'Brien. You got all these petitions. I said, man, let me try to be the voice for the fans, the voice for the voiceless at this point. If you want to get technical about it, you know, the fans are like, man, we're spending this hard-earned money and we don't have a voice. I said, well, let me be that voice. You know, I have ties to the organization. Let me put together a fan advisory board where now we meeting every other month and you guys get to tell me, you know, what you want to see. Now, Barn, we probably can't do everything, but we're going to get some stuff done. And you got somebody that can listen to you. So when I'm talking to these fans, the last thing I say to them now, have you ever had the opportunity to go back and forth and voice your opinion with anybody in the NFL? And if I'm in that position, you just got that opportunity to do that, because I volunteered to go back into this thing. So, and I get it. You know, I see it. I've seen the looks. I've been a part of it. You know, I've been on teams where we were just getting, you know, just ran out the bill and getting hulled out, you know, but it was a lot of personal victories. You know, we had to come back and had to do this. And as a player, you know, I don't care who you are. You got to physically beat me, dude. You know, and right now, that we're not seeing that, man. And like I said, that locker room is in rough shape right now, bro.
So speaking about Professor Trill, appreciate the love. What do you say, nah, man, he said, y'all softballing these questions. Say, ask him, would he move on from JJ? Does he think our current roster, what does he think of our current roster, and do we run the right defense? Okay. Professor Trill asks, say, do you feel like it's time to move on from JJ?
You got to look at this, man. He's at the end of his career. You know, JJ is married now. JJ is he's setting up life after ball, right? So his mentality is not the JJ that just came in year one. He's been through a few injuries, all those different things. So you got to look at it like this. When you sign an NFL contract, you are on your way out the door, right? There's always going to be somebody younger, somebody cheaper coming through the door every year. There's going to be a new belle of the ball. Per the collective bargaining agreement, your salary goes up every year. That counts against the cap. So you got to look at the mentality of the players. By the time you're in your 30s, if you last that long, you know, you're a dinosaur at that point, right? So JJ he's almost there, right? He's like, I'm almost. I believe he may be done after this year, to be honest with you. But you know, that's time will tell that. But you know, you got to understand that every year those scouts are getting paid to evaluate that talent that's going to be able to step right in. So I believe with the defense that's being ran right now, if you got the right personnel, it's a good defense, right? It's a good defense, but coaching, leadership. If you cannot get the best out of those athletes, you're gonna lose. They're gonna run up and down the field on you all day. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about a mentality. It has to be out there. They gotta have that swag. They gotta have that dog in them, and they gotta look up and see the person that's leading them in the same light. Because it doesn't make any sense for me to be conservative, and then I got all these animals out there that's doing what they're supposed to do. They're going to adapt to me, and we don't have that right now. So when it comes down to defenses and particular players, JJ he's a once in a lifetime guy. He's a high motor guy. When he got drafted, everybody was hot. I was telling my wife at the time, I said, listen, you're going to love it because I played against cats like that where I had to bring my lunch. You want those type of guys on your team because they're infectious and they're going to hold people accountable. So I'm going to go out there and find me another JJ. He may not be the same caliber as far as the player, but you're going to have to have some high motor guys out there that are going to hold people accountable. And that's how you win, man.
See, I think because I know we talked about I know Honcho, you brought up draft capital and stuff like that. Right. I think probably the hardest part of this job, whenever someone gets it, is not even the draft picks, it's the salary cap. Because I think as of right now, it's been wrecked to shit. And I think that's going to be probably the hardest thing to do is try to clear that up and clean that up. How would you go about that?
Well, you got to bring people in the room who are smarter than you. They got capologists. They got guys that it's not just the GM now. And people got to understand that you have a team of people around you. So what I don't know, I know how to go get. Right? I have mentors that have been there, done that. I got John Wooten that I'm on the horn with every other week right now. I got guys who are capologists, have been GMs that have been in these positions where they can come in and say, hey, look, if I were UG, I'd do this or I'd look at this. And from there, we'd be able to bounce ideas off of each other to figure out the best way to do it. But you got to be creative, man. You have to be creative enough to assure these athletes that you're looking out for their best interest, number one. Number two is, what is the pie? Are we looking to try to get to a Super Bowl or are you just trying to get your money up front? Because if you get to a Super Bowl, I can show you how I can get you more money on the long, as far as the long game. We're talking about generational wealth. Or do you want this money up front? So if you want to do this is what has to happen. But it's all about being creative, getting the guys to buy into the process and understanding that you are there for them to make sure that when they're done playing, that they can feed their families from the grave. And you don't get that in the NFL today. It's all right, good luck to you. We'll holler at you.
Now, that's something I heard you say in another interview, and I really did like that because I think that is an issue. You talked about, when you can clear these guys' minds, to know that they're going to be taken care of when the game is said and done. That allows them to play free, and I think that's something we've discussed with O'Brien's offense and complications, allowing these guys to stop thinking, let them play free. But there are many other problems that we as fans don't see. I say often that you don't know who these guys are taken care of. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know who's sick. You don't know this, that, and the third, what good decision, bad decision, whatever they got going on. So that they are thinking about things. Sometimes they might be elsewhere. But is that from something that you've kind of seen? From guys who end up out of the league? That maybe they need some type of assistance like that, or do you think that maybe on the front end you give more financial education when they come in, or is it a bit of both? How do you approach this?
Brother, all that, right? You have to have people in place for the total man, and you got to have people in place for his family too as well. and it's what a lot of the fans don't get. Is because you just should. Let's just take Chadwick Boseman, right? This man gave us all of these different movies, and we didn't know that he was sick with cancer.
Yeah.
So, as a fan or as a patron of the movies, you're going to be entertained. So you have to look at it like that and say, hey, with these athletes, it's the same scenario. You never know what's going on with these guys. There's so many different pressures. It's just like Biggie say, more money, more problems. But unfortunately, people don't get it. And then you have all the different things. Like, say, for instance, you got a guy who doesn't take the right step, or he might get a touchdown thrown on him. Now you got everybody in these message boards cutting his head off, and he has to absorb that, along with him being like a samurai. He's wanting to off himself for the simple fact that he gave up the winning touchdown. So there's all these different pressures. Sure enough, you got money coming in, but money doesn't cure all. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the money in the world and be miserable, but people don't look at it like that. So it's about education. It's about educating everybody involved. So when you really come to a game, you have a deeper understanding of what's going on. And now we're taking you from being fans to family. And that's all I want for this Texan organization. That's all I want for the fans, to feel like they're family, feel like they're heard. And then from there, you can rally behind the guys. And now you are a part of the team. You're the reason why we do what we do. But there's a divide there, bro. And I'm here to bridge that gap.
I like that, from fan to family. Professor Trill says, I guess the insult JJ got his vote. So you got a new fan there. Man, and something else you kind of mentioned too is something we said often here about the Texans and this organization. It seems like we're almost like a developmental team, a farm team of sorts. You've seen players come through here and then go on to have success. Then you've seen, even coaches come through here and then move on to other teams or get let go somewhere else and find more success. If you were the head honcho in charge, what do you do to stop that from happening? How do you retain talent? How do you keep that within this organization?
They gotta want to be here. They have to want to be here. It's about the culture. It's about the level of expectations. The bar has to be raised higher. Like I say, it has to be a win now mentality. And my thing is, because I was a former player, if I wasn't getting my job done, they were bringing somebody in to replace me. So you can tell me the competition is going to make us better, but if I'm in upper management, we don't have any competition there. That doesn't make sense to me, right? Because I'm seeing you bring guys in every Tuesday to replace me, and I got to send them home. But you can make all these decisions, and nobody is checking you on them. There's no checks and balances.
Right.
So automatically as a player, I'm feeling some type of way. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm 38 hot, because you have me out here competing for my job every day, and there's no job security. But I'm looking up there, and you have your hands behind your head and your feet kicked up. Nah, that's not gonna get it. So to cure that, the culture has to be, I'm leading from the front. I got boots on the ground. If I can't ask you to do anything that I have never done myself, I'm a firm believer in it. If I've never been there, how am I gonna tell you to do it? You know what I'm saying? And it has to be the level of respect. In order to get that respect, I got to give it, and I got to demand it the same way that they have to. If these guys come in and they see me not doing something I need to do, they get the opportunity to check me. I'm a big boy. I'm a very big boy, and I'm gonna do the same with them. And that's anybody that's in that building. We got to hold each other accountable. And like I said, with a change of pace, a change of scenery, and a change of the regime and leadership, I think Houston will be a desirable place. And I'm just wanting the opportunity to be a candidate and get in there and show them how I'm going to change that bottom line and take them from number 9 on the money list to number 1. Go ahead.
You use the word a lot today. The word respect, and that's something that both this Texans organization doesn't have, and also something I feel that Bill O'Brien doesn't have league wide. I think that's the reason why you have the Tunsil trade, the Clowney trade, the Hopkins trade, because he's not respected as a general manager. And we all talk about this all the time about how we feel that the Texans have a lack of respect as far as we like the little kids of the NFL, as far as how other teams view us and other fan bases view us, but mostly because we're the younger franchise. But I get it.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about, like, how would you command the respect as far as, because no matter how many, when you're a general manager, you have to have dealings with other teams because of trades in the draft, trades to just regular compensation, or even signing players. You gotta have respect also with players' agents and things like that. So how do you go about gaining that respect on that level? Not just with the players, but respect from other general managers and other scouts and agents of the NFL.
Well, you have to have been there. You have to have done it, and I've been doing it since I've been done playing. 2010 was my last year, and I had a conversation with Bob McNair, before he passed, like when I was playing, and he told me that I'd always have a job with the Texans. So I could have very easily came back and been a scout, but I would have compartmentalized myself with one team, working with that one team's athletes and talent, when I knew that I could do more with what I'm doing and work with all these different leagues and all these other teams. So I think the respect comes from people understanding that you're not just going to tell me anything and I buy it. Respect comes from being educated. Respect comes from understanding what you bring to the table, knowing your worth. That's number one. But it also is being that you have a team around you that has been there and done that too, and has been successful with it. Like I say, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I will bring people. I'm gonna bring people in this organization that are going to push me and hold me accountable, because there are things that I have shortcomings with that they may not, but there are things that I can do that they can't do, and that's a part of being a team. And I've dealt with the teamwork aspect my entire life. So you have to assemble a team that when it really comes down to it, they're not gonna fold. They got your back, and they know that you have the same interest for them as well. So I'm gonna have some guys in here, like I say, man, that have been there, done that. Some guys that have been in my life for a number of years, whether they were my coaches, whether they were teammates, all those different things, man. I have almost close to 400 people that I can just call on. That all these names that are being thrown around, I got these cats on speed now, because this is a small fraternity, and we know each other, and these guys see it, and they see the drive. And I've been consistent my entire career, my entire life, and they know me for this consistency and this drive, and they know that if they come in, they have to outwork me. And if you can do that, we got an opportunity to do some big things.
Okay. Man, we 112, we're at 108 now. Look, deep. All right. One, if y'all like what this man is saying, hit the like button. I know I'm rocking with
already,
it, and I'm he said everything.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Just everything that's been said. I'm with it, because I'm feeling like everything that's being said is stuff that we've been preaching around here for years. So it feels good knowing that, again, somebody with ties, somebody who's had the experience, feels the same way, seeing the same things. It just makes you know, no, I'm not crazy, So it's good to see that. Well, for those who don't know, because a lot of people kind of came in late and have been asking, this is Garrick Jones, and he is trying to get your vote to be the potential GM for the Houston Texans. He has a petition. I'm going to get the link, because I didn't put the link in the description.
Oh, okay.
But
Appreciate
I'll make
that.
sure after the video is over, I'm going to make sure I'll put it in there. Y'all can hit me on social media. I'll get it to y'all, and I'll tweet it out. Because, like I say, man, I'm hearing everything I would love to hear from somebody in charge of this organization. And we talk about Sauce Sport being the voice of the people. Look, y'all need to say something. Y'all need to spread the word, and also, when this is all said and done, y'all need to share this with other fans to see, so this man has a chance to be heard. You know what I mean? Because if you're not in agreement with what has been said tonight, y'all already know how we handle y'all around here in the South. You must be one of the other kind of Texans fans. And again, there's plenty of outlets for y'all. I'm trying to be professional. Like, this might be a future GM.
There you go.
I don't want to abandon the South before we get a chance. You feel me? But but all bull to the side, man. Y'all gotta want something better, because he talks about respect. He talks about accountability, and that's something I say as fans. You talk about you're a hardworking fan. You're spending your hardworking money. Y'all should want this team to be held accountable. Y'all should be holding this team accountable. You know what I mean? And so that's why I say I'm loving everything that you're saying right now. And like I said, I definitely hope that this gets more movement, gets more traction behind it. But you mentioned something earlier, and I kind of want to delve into a couple other things you got going on. So they can kind of get a full spectrum of who you are. You mentioned the developmental league. You want to
Right.
dive a little bit more into that, kind of explain what that is?
Okay. So my developmental league is called the States Developmental Football League, and basically what the league is about teaching the athletes, their families, the fans, the coaches, the refs, everybody that's associated with the league, about marketing, promotion, business, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, how to leave wheels and not bills, everything that's needed to be a productive member of society. Because realistically, the NFL can't house all these people. The NFL will never house all these people, but 100% are going to have bills, babies, and problems. So what we do is we focus on that, and we also develop them on the field. We run congruent with the NFL. A lot of these leagues are afraid to do that because we're competing with the NFL. It's not that. We're a developmental situation. So you come here to go there, and you're going to be coached up by guys who've been there, done that, and got a check from this, right? So what happens is, each year these teams are going to go to camp with 90 guys, and they got to cut that down to 53 men. So it makes sense for them to allocate their players to us and allow us to develop them on and off the field. So by the time they come back, when the injury bug hits, they now have a veterans mentality, and they also are making money from the various programs that we have them in, where they can make as much as they want. And they're coming back with an ownership mentality. A lot of these guys are good with just thinking the NFL is the end all, and that's not the case, because realistically, NFL is the best temporary job you'll ever have. So what we do is we play bi-weekly. 1 week we play, then the next week we take that week off, and now we're focusing on the business. We're focusing on slowing the game down, teaching them how to watch film, teaching them how to put business plans together. We're teaching them how to interview, how to have a microphone in your face and a camera in your face and not be at a train wreck, right? We're teaching them how to be productive. And then next week, now we got them back on the field and we're doing what we need to do with them. But we're not beating their bodies to hell. They're learning business. They're not starting to make money, and they're being mentored by guys who've been there. Guys that'll be coaching are guys that want to coach in the NFL, but there's no spots. When you get done and you got to go back you want to get into coaching and scouting, you got to start all the way back over. And there's not many opportunities in the NFL. And then with the CBA going into 2021, you're going to lose some preseason games. So there's not any developmental situations. You got spring ball, but that's just ball. Compared to what we do, it's just football. Our deal is bigger than the game. It's free enterprise plus football, and that equals the SDFL. So everything that I didn't see in the NFL is what we put in it. Everything I didn't see in the CFL is what we put in it. And that way, from the tip top all the way down to the groundskeepers can get in on everything that we do and take care of their families, man. And that's what it's all about.
I like that, man. I like that. I think you overall bring a new mindset, a new approach to it, and I like that because again, like I said, it's not about what can I get out of you as a player. If you ain't got
Right.
what can I throw you away? I want to make sure you're straight as a person. I want to make sure you're good as a person. We see guys come in here and go and end up, what they say, was it 5 years? Most athletes are broke after they get out of a professional league, something like that. They don't really with themselves. They've been playing football all their life and had handlers and people kind of use and abuse them. So, man, I love it. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Man, it's teaching from testimony, man. I've been there, done that, and it's time to change that narrative, and the beautiful thing about it is every year there's a new crop. There's 16,000 guys that are draft eligible. Only 256 are going to get their call for positions that are already taken. So where do all these other guys go? They might go to a league or two here and there, but, these guys are viable options. So we want to be able to allow them to keep chasing that dream, to be put in a position to be seen, but also now teaching them about business and life, where they're not trying to bury their people, with GoFundMe and fish plates. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than that. You feel me? And that's what we do. And it's all about teaching from those life experiences and everything that you've gone through, because I've gone through it. You get 5 years of healthcare and when you're done with the NFL, and it's good luck to you. And that's when really your body starts to give out on you, because playing the game of football and being a professional athlete, it ages you in dog years. And man, it's a hard quality of life is rough, but people don't get it. And I understand that because they're not educated on it. So it's up to us to educate them.
Man, we got about 5 more minutes or so. I don't know if there's anything that you may have touched on. Anybody in the chat, you want to ask. I feel like you've pretty much covered all the questions that I have. As far as what your platform is, your approach. It seems like you have a well thought out plan. And again, like I said, I think the Texans need something fresh. I think your experience, gives you that ability to see it from both sides. So,
sure enough.
Wait, I got some.
Okay.
You say that Hop, we trade Hop for a hot Dr. Pepper and a bag of Funyuns. What would you have got in the trade?
Hop up still be here. It wouldn't be no trade.
Right answer. Right answer. There you go. Right answer.
It wouldn't be a trade. That wouldn't even be a conversation.
Okay.
But one thing I will
trade who? What?
Right, man, exactly. One thing I will say is this, guys, with the petition, I have a lot of people that, they come at me and say, man, you're just doing a petition. They're not gonna. All these names don't matter. And what I tell people is each one of these names is like currency. For all the petitions that are out there, I've reached out to all of the people that put petitions together, and myself included, and I counted up those numbers, right? All the different fan pages and all those different things. So that puts me in front of 100,000 signatures with my petition. If you look at the average cost of a ticket for a family of 4 for the Houston Texans, that's around $500. All right. So if you take that 100K of numbers in regards to those signatures, and you take that 500 and you say that family of 4, you divide that 100K by 4, that's 25,000. You take that 25,000 and multiply that times that 500, that's $12.5 million that I bring to the table each and every week if I come through them doors and you give me that contract. So when I'm sitting down with the Texans, that's one of 7 talking points that I'm gonna be on talking about the bottom line. So this isn't a game. I'm for real about it. I've done the math. I'm versed up on everything that goes on, and like I say, I'm gonna change their bottom line, and I'm gonna put them in a position to eat forever. But in doing so, we're gonna take care of these players. We're gonna take care of these fans. We're gonna take care of their families, and we're gonna bring the Super Bowl to Houston.
Man, that's a comprehensive look. You consider running for president too, man.
Let me do this one first, then I'm going for that one. Let me get the Super Bowl first, then I'll do the president situation. But we're gonna get the Super Bowl first. The city needs something to cheer about, man. We're having a hard time, man, and you got to have something. If we're gonna be an outlet, if this is gonna be an outlet and a way that people get away from it, it needs to be that. And if you're spending your hard-earned money, you damn well better be set up, and that's what I intend to
do. Okay, I got a question too, because here's something that we say around here often too, and I think the fans agree. A lot of us being native to Houston, greater Houston area, Texas, whatever it may be, we look at this team, man, and it just feels corporate. You saw the XFL, even though it came and went. You saw the Roughnecks coming here, and it almost was like a shot in the arm. It rejuvenated the city. Fans connected with them immediately. It's like they found out whatever it was that the people wanted and brought it to them on the football field. That culture of Houston was there. The Texans feel corporate. They feel cookie cutter. They feel like, hey, if we pick this team up, we can drop it anywhere, and it is what it is. It's a football team. What do you feel like you could do to change that culture, or maybe to feel like that connection to Houston is there?
Well, I need the city behind me. You know what I'm saying? I need those numbers. And with those numbers comes that bottom line that you're going to change for them. Because with the NFL, man, it's about the bottom line. You got to understand that coming in the gate. It's not necessarily about the right player. It's politics over playing time. If I have a player that I bring in on the 7th round, if I bring in the 7th round, he gets 7th round money. And then I got a 2nd round guy that is the same type of player, but he gets 2nd round money. That 7th round guy may be better. You know what I'm saying? He might be better in the community and doing a little bit extra, but that kid won't play because I gave that 2nd rounder that money. You see what I'm saying? So it's about showing them how you're going to change the dynamic of that. They're making their money right now. Don't get me wrong, but they're number 9 on the money list. If I come in and I can show them how I can take them from number 9 to number 1, now they loosen the reins and say, okay, and he can connect with the fans, and he can connect with the guys that are playing, and okay, well, let's talk. You see what I'm saying? So it's about getting their ear and also getting them to put eyes on things. Yeah. So my job has been I went into the fire just to get the city behind it, because that's the culture. The culture will be the city. You know what I'm saying? Everything that goes on in the H, this is what people want to aspire to be. This needs to be the template for all the rest of the teams. And that's the desire and the passion that they got to see. And when people see that and get behind that, mean, man, it's strength in numbers. And that's what I try to tell these people all the time, tell these fans and these message boards, like, man, I'm not playing with this, man. You got to understand, I'm going back into the lines then to be your voice. And once you get behind that movement, that means that's a dollar amount that comes through the door with me. And there will be nobody that they will bring in an interview that's going to bring more to the table than I will. I guarantee it.
Man, they put a stamp on it, man. Let me get a little. I see y'all to start a little hashtag in the chat, a little hashtag Jones 2020. If you liking what this man, what Mr. Garrick Jones is saying, and again, you said you can be found on your social media. We'll drop your social media handles one more time for those who.
Man, I tell people the hashtag is hashtag GJ number 4 GM. Hashtag GJ number 4 GM. And you search the hashtag out, you will see everything that's online that I'm doing. The petition will pop up. All you got to do is go in there and sign that and just share with your people. There's no need to donate. They'll throw a donate button up. Don't do that. All you got to do is sign it and share it with your people. Get your people behind it. You know, you're going to get some people that's going to hit the laugh, but I get that because they don't know no better. But just keep sharing it. Keep beating it in their heads. And then what's going to happen is that's when that all the numbers go. I have a question and answer that we're doing live on Facebook October 8th that I'll have on my page. You know, you'll be able to find my Facebook page. Just shoot me a friend request. I'll start deleting people if I got to. It is what it is. This is about family now. And my thing is making sure that you guys understand that, dog, I'm going to bat for y'all. It is what it is. I mean, I've done what I needed to do. So my thing is leaving a legacy and making sure that my babies can eat when I'm long gone. And that means doing what we got to do and getting this Super Bowl. But it's hashtag GJ4GM, and you'll find everything, man. Just hashtag that thing, man. They got to see it. We got to make ourselves felt, man, and put the voice out there.
Already. Man, again, 71, hit that like button. 106, we got 71 likes. Hit that like button. Spitz, man, anything else you want to add before we get ready to slide up out of here, man?
Nah, man. Like I said, he answered all the questions, hit the nail on the head. I mean, yeah, you got my vote, man.
Bro, let's do it, man. I rock with y'all, man. Like I say, I've been waiting for this one, man. I made sure to clear out the schedule. I told the kids, hey, I've been a principal all day. I've been a lunch lady. I've been a custodian. I said, man, look, y'all need to go do something else. I got to do this one. And whatever the situation may be, you know, when I put the fan advisory board together, man, I want you guys on that board. I want to include people, man. That way we can go ahead and make this thing happen, because there are a lot of viable ideas and options out here, man. There's some smart people out here, man. They might be, you know, a little rough around the edges, but they're smart. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's a cool deal. But like I say, man, I'm ready to start sharing this link with all my people, all my networks, man, and start, you know, getting people, you know, cross promoting what we got going on and getting people turned on to you guys, man. Because, man, you guys are the ones that make it move, and that's what it's about.
Man, like I say, I'm 100% behind it. Yeah, you ain't gotta say less. You ain't gotta tell me nothing else, man. Like I said, I heard everything I need to hear, and I believe it's looking a consensus in the chat, and we don't get that too often, you know.
No, I get it.
We on one accord. So hey, man, look, y'all make sure y'all follow them properly on social media. Y'all saw the hashtag GJ4GM, man. Mr. Garrick Jones, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Spitz, you already know another good one. Shout out to everybody in Sauce Nation. Hey, you know what? Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. But most of all, y'all stay saucy, and we finna cha-cha slide up on out of here, man. I thank y'all for being here. And again, we'll be back. We'll be here pre-game Sunday, an hour before the game. Make sure y'all tune in. Y'all know we'll be talking our usual trash, so we'll catch y'all there. Y'all stay saucy. We out.
Perfect.